Hey, it's Chris, and today we're gonna be talking about unbelievably useful Apple Watch tips. Now, there's a ton of different Apple Watch tips that I could have included, so what I did was I just picked some of my absolute favorites. And by the way, if you haven't already checked out my unbelievably useful Apple Watch apps video that I made recently, you should definitely go check that out after this, because I promise, if you install a couple of those, it'll feel like a whole new watch to you. So let's kick things off today with something that's a little bit subtle. So let's say that you're at the movies and you wanna check out the time or some sort of notification without bugging everybody around you. What you do is slowly turn the digital crown on your Apple Watch, and as you do, the screen will get gradually brighter until you can just see what's on there. And then you can reverse the motion on the digital crown to turn your screen black again, or you can just use your palm to cover it up and it'll go black. And by the way, if you're at the theater in the first place, then you should definitely be in theater mode. So swipe up from the bottom of your Apple Watch screen and click on those two masks, kind of like the Phantom of the Opera or something, you know, like theaters. And then that will prevent your screen from lighting up like a Christmas tree and making everybody else angry. I don't know about you guys, but these days I pretty much only go to the theater like once a year in December when the latest Star Wars comes out. Is that weird? Because otherwise, I'm just at home and I rent stuff on the 4K HDR Apple TV. Here's my second tip for the day. You can and should use your Apple Watch to unlock your Mac. I know I've mentioned that a couple of times in some other Apple Watch videos, but it's definitely good enough and I use it all the time, so I wanted to make sure that it made it into this list. So instead of using Touch ID or having to type in a password, it's way easier to just wake up your computer and have it automatically log in for you when you're wearing your watch. Now to get this to work, you're gonna have to have watchOS 3 or later, macOS Sierra or later, and have two-factor authentication enabled for your Apple ID. And then you can head over to your Mac security and privacy settings in the system preferences and tick Allow Apple Watch to unlock your Mac. Now here's my prediction. Out of all the tips that I'm gonna list in this video, that's gonna be the one that you'll end up using the most, because how many times do you log into your Mac every day? Today's sponsor is Bandwork, makers of a wide range of luxury Apple Watch bands. If you're looking for something a little bit different, then you might enjoy these German-made leather watch bands. Regardless of the purchase price, your Bandwork product will ship for free, so take a minute after this video ends to check out the link down in the description and see if any of the styles are a match for your wrist. Now, just recently, I set up the cellular connection on my Apple Watch Edition, and I've been testing that out, which means there are some times throughout the day when I can leave my iPhone behind. But whenever I do that, I absolutely make sure to grab my AirPods so that I can listen to music and take calls privately. So this next tip has to do with that exact setup, rocking the LTE Apple Watch and the AirPods. Are you ready for this? Are you sure? So you can use the digital crown to control the volume of your AirPods. Just crank it up and down. And if it's Andy Mineo, I'm gonna turn it way up. By the way though, is that something that you guys might wanna see a video on, like cell connection, LTE connection on the Apple Watch? It's something I've been thinking about making, but let me know down in the comments if you're actually interested. Like, what's it like? A day in the life maybe? When does it make sense for you? That kind of thing. Now this next thing is not something that I personally do, but I can see a lot of people maybe liking it, and that is changing the orientation of the watch and the watch face so that the digital crown works on the left. So to do this, just head into your watch's settings under General and Orientation, and then you can get things switched around right there. The reason that some people like this is because if you bend your wrist, sometimes you accidentally hit that digital crown. So if it's on the other side, it's like a little bit less prone to getting accidentally clicked. Moving on, what if you could view your apps as a list rather than the default bubble view? Well, of course, if I'm mentioning it, then you must know that you can, and it's really easy to do. All you have to do is go onto the apps screen and force touch into it. So that's like the deep press. And when you do that, you'll have the option to view as a list or in the grid. When you do stick things in list view, it sorts your apps alphabetically, which is kind of nice if you're looking for an app in particular and things are kind of too busy on the screen. At least this way you can track it down by name instead of just looking at the icons. Personally though, I just kind of like the bubbles, so that's kind of what I leave it at. In fact, I remember when the Apple Watch was originally announced and I saw that interface, it was like one of the things that made me really want to try it. I just thought the design was really cool and different. Now, something that I'm guessing a lot of people ignore on their Apple Watches is the camera app, which acts like a remote control for your iPhone camera. This is really useful when you're doing something like taking a family portrait because you set the phone up on a tripod, let's say, and then you can't see the screen. But the Apple Watch app gives you a live preview. And then bam, just hit the shutter button when everybody's smiling, or you can use the timer so that everybody actually knows when they're supposed to smile. Another thing that's kind of fun is using one of your photos to create a kaleidoscope watch face. The reason this is cool is because it's a great way to personalize the Apple Watch, but at the same time, it's also more powerful than just setting an actual photo as a watch face because you get more complications. So to make it happen, head over to the watch app on your phone, hit the face gallery and then kaleidoscope, and then edit it and choose your custom photo. And then from there, you can force touch on the watch face itself and choose from 3 different styles for whatever suits you best. Now, one thing that's pretty useful if you ever do take phone calls on your Apple Watch is the ability to transfer that call to your phone. Because I think it's really cool that the Apple Watch can take phone calls, but sometimes you want a louder speaker or it's just a little bit easier to use your phone. Now, if you want to do it, all you have to do is search for the green pill button at the top corner of your iPhone while the call is going on and then tap to transfer. Now, this last tip, I'm just including it honestly for your own sake. Like, this is not something that I would use ever, and it kind of bugs me that it exists. I don't know why, but it's the same kind of thing that my dad used to do with the clock in the car when I was growing up, is set it forward like 10 minutes or something. So I guess the thinking is if you're always running late, then you won't be late. I don't know, but I don't like it. But if you want to do it, go into the settings and then the time, and then you can move the clock ahead however many minutes that you want. All right, this concludes another unbelievably useful video. You guys let me know what you want to see next. Unbelievably useful tips, apps, accessories, anything's on the table. So just leave me a comment and I'll catch you in the next video. Later. Whoa, that's close.